Hello, I'm your compare Tom. I'm Compare Tom. Yes, that is me, Compare Tom. Today we're back with more stand-up from Tom. Tom's doing more stand-up. Yes, it's a wacky world of stand-up. Now this is all new material that is, it's like a, how does stand-up comedian Tom talk about it? It's basically like a work in progress gig, but without the length of work in progress gig, but without having a show at the end of it. Because this is like 3 bits that are linked with me. Yes, and I'll have a different disguise each time. So I might come on like this, yes, try and disguise myself from being it, or I might walk on and go, that's an elephant, to try and say I'm Compare Tom. Yes, so without further ado, please welcome our first joke for the night. It's one and only Tom Mason. So, I started rewatching Casualty not so long ago, from 2012 to 2018 I think it was. No, 2017 I think. What they class as classic Casualty, technically. 2018-17 isn't really classic, but we'll go with that. So, Charlie Fairhead is one of the key characters in the Casualty universe. He's been there since day one, and for years he used to be the young person that was like, yeah, he's got this wrong with him. He accidentally stuck a pole in his leg because he fell into a pole whilst working on the construction site. He was, oh, this bloke's got a ladder stuck in his leg because he tripped and instead of falling backwards onto the floor, he fell onto the ladder, and then, you know what I mean. So he come and have a look at the patient, and he had different jobs over the years at the hospital. But from 2012, he stopped being talkative and having a conversation. He now does this. How are you? Yes. So the person, let's say for instance, let's use our elephant as an example. So the elephant is here trying to have a conversation with me, right? And Charlie's like, yeah, I know, you really need to own up to your own mistakes there, Ellie, the elephant. And you really need to, like, get on with it, and you just need to own up to all your mistakes. And you know what I mean? And you don't really have a conversation like that. You don't see people having conversations where they're not really looking at you. He's sat down at his desk and having, yeah, I know, you just need to trust, and they're trying to talk to him. They're not having a proper conversation. You don't walk to the pub, like for example. You don't walk to the pub and you're there with all your friends, and you're having a conversation with your friend, and he's staring at the wall at the other end of the pub while I was drinking, and yeah, I know, and she said, boo, and I went, ah, and I fell over, yeah, and the friend's like, where are you looking? Where are you looking? You're not really looking at what we're supposed to be looking at. And so it's like, and I have a proper conversation, I don't. And it's like, what? And the theory as goes, because I've done some investigation, so that's other people, and apparently they think that the actor that plays Charlie Fairhead might be like a higher enough actor in the Casualty cast, where he doesn't need to learn his lines. He's really looking at his lines from the distance, so they're all going, yeah, I know, and I did this really bad thing, and they know the lines, and he can be like, and yeah, I know, yeah, but he must be a really good actor to look at his lines off centre and still have a perfect conversation, and no one even question it of what's going on. That was comedian Tom there with jokes about Casualty. Wow, wow, I'm Compare Tom again. Next, we've got more jokes coming your way very soon, ladies and gentlemen, and anyone actually watching Tom's Comedy Club, because it is the greatest comedy club on the internet, as so I've been told by manager Tom, the owner of the club. We've got more jokes coming your way next. Please welcome to the stage, Tom Mason! Hey! Woo! So, dogs, and people, everyone, a lot of people, right? People, everyone, a lot of people, yes I know, have dogs, right? one of the second most popular pets after cats and dogs. You see, they made a whole film franchise about them being enemies, like cats are supervillains and dogs are secret agents that live in a bunker. Let's go and beat that cat. I love it shaking, not scared. And then the cat's like, meow, I've been expecting you. And he's stroking a gerbil. Meow, I've been expecting you. Stroking a gerbil. Cat's joy. Anyway, so, what it is that as pet owners, you give affection to these dogs and you let the dogs, especially dogs, Labrador is the dog I have, to use a real life example. And you trust them and you love them and you care for them and you let them sit next to you on the settees and couches and wherever, right? And you give them the affection and all this so that they feel like they're comfortable. Now what you least expect is if they're not sat next to you and they're on the floor and you're watching, let's say for instance, MasterChef Australia as a wide example, and you sat there watching it and you pause it to go grab a drink. You're walking off to go get a drink, walking off to go get a drink, you go grab it, and you come back, and guess what you find on your seat? Staring at you, knowing full well what they've just done, they've just sat in your seat. So then you have to go off the seat, and you sit back down, and you're doing it again, and then someone else walks in, because they were like, I want to come and watch this with you now, because I heard it from upstairs because they were emailing their boss or something, and they want to come down and come and watch it with us. And so then, as they come to sit on the seat, that dog, right, that just stole your seat, has ran past them and hopped onto it to steal their seat. And then, when you least expect it, you're just casually sat there, and you know that at some point you want to be sitting in another seat, or you know that dog knows that seat is for someone else. It's their seat. Right, so you sat there watching MasterChef Australia and they're all cutting, let's do a cutting impression, cutting, that's drumming, the frying, and then the dog runs past you, hops onto their seat, and sits there and you're like, rude, but really, you think it's hilarious because then they just stare at you through the entire time like that. They stare at you and go, because what they do is that they know that they've stolen your seat. They've stolen the seat, they know that they shouldn't have stolen the seat, and they're just going to sit there and stare at you to make you feel even guiltier than they've stolen the seat. They're like, I know what I've done. And you're like, you clearly know what they've done, and they know what you've done, and so you're laughing at them because you know that they shouldn't have stolen that seat, and they know they shouldn't have stolen that seat, but they stole the seat anyway. And it's like, then you get up to go to the bathroom or something, and you pause TV again, and that dog that's been sat there comfortably on someone else's seat this entire time because that other person's not sat there, then they get off that seat without you knowing, you come back and they're sat in your seat again. And clearly they're staring at you because they know what they've done. And they find it hilarious. Because dogs don't have a laughing reflex like we do. They can't laugh. So they stare at you, stare into your soul, I know what I've done. I've sat on here, so you can't. Na 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 na. And it's hilarious. That's Tom there. Comedian Tom Mason, well done. Woo! Jokes all about dogs stealing seats. Woo! Now we're on to the final bit of stand up for today. We bring to you again the wonderful, the amazing Tom Mason. I've been thinking the other day about what would happen if, for instance, Elon Musk did something really stupid in America and wanted to flee the country, right? And he needed to get away quickly. What could he do? Well, he could hop into a swan pedalo and pedal off to, let's say, Spain, shall we say. But the issue is with pedalos, the one thing you can't do is go solo pedaloing. Because if you're on a swan pedalo, which is the most common pedalo that I know of, is you sit in the pedalo and going by yourself. So if I try and go from America to Spain on a pedalo on my own, I can't because you slow down in a pedalo because you're on it. You're using your feet to do the cycling. It's like a bike. It's like a bike, but it can work on its own. So you're on this pedal on your own, but you're going slower because there's not someone else next it in the peddler. So, an example, if I wanted to, or if Elon Musk had done a crime in America that he wanted to get away from the government, shall we say, it's a very extreme example, I know, but he hops onto this one peddler and he pedals to Spain, which is in a completely different direction from America, but it will take him far long. The sea police, or the police that have boats, can easily capture him because because on a peddler you go slower when there's one person. So trying to escape going in a car chase, but in a pedalo, so it's a pedalo chase, it wouldn't really happen because pedalos are slower with one person. Two people, oh, you'd be going like the wind, you'd be like a Formula 1 racer, but on your road you'd be like a snail pace. So imagine this is feet on a pedal, it's like that. It's like riding a bike, right? It's like riding a bike, but with one person it's like this. Because it's harder to actually ride the bike, pedal it, because there's not two people. With two people it's like that, because they're taking some of the power as well to make the jet at the back, which is like a wind thing, and it does that, and that makes it faster. But that's why you can't escape. That's why you can't escape the government in a pedalo. It's like a high-speed car chase tick. Driving a bus, yes. In a super yacht, yes. But in a swan pedalo or any other type of pedalo, you might have a rubber ducky pedalo. No. Can you do it in a rubber dinghy? Well, if your rubber dinghy has oars either side, so you do that, then probably, it depends on if you're an Olympic rower. But not everyone is an Olympic rower. So, to explain this in a better sense, pedalos, two people, you can escape the police. Pedalo with one person, no. So I wouldn't recommend do a high-speed pedalo chase, especially if you're in a swan pedalo, because it'll stick out like a sore thumb. Thank you there, Tom. Comedian Tom Mason there. Woo! Woo! Well done, well done. Woo! Well done. That is all your stand-up for today. Thank you for watching, and hopefully he'll come back for more stand-up comedy. Every time he does stand-up, it is slightly more improved. Feedback is always granted down below. That's what the channel manager, Tom, told me to say. So, give it once more of a round of applause for Tom Mason! This audio's not going to be AI because my clapping will definitely be assumed as background noise. Woo! Woo! I want to do it backwards now.